isn't easy. Can an insurance company deny your claim by claiming or accusing that you've been coaching your doctor to say that you're disabled? Now, unfortunately, conspiracy theories abound even in the disability insurance world. Insurance companies and plan administrators sometimes craft elaborate theories in an attempt to deny or terminate legitimate claims. Take, for example, conditions that can severely limit a person's ability to sit. So you've got a herniated disc or a failed hip replacement or complications from an ovarian cyst. That brings us to the case of Dime versus MetLife, which is a case out of the Western District of Washington. Now, Ms. Dime had a long history of abdominal and pelvic issues. She underwent surgery to remove an ovarian cyst, and she experienced ongoing debilitating pain. She applied through her employer-sponsored plan to get her benefits, and that plan was administered by MetLife. So what did MetLife do? Well, they denied her claim. And one of their reasons was that they argued without proof that Ms. Dime had orchestrated or manipulated her treating physician's language to support her disability claim. In other words, they accused her of influencing her doctor behind the scenes to write specific things in her medical records. Fortunately, the court didn't buy it, and it rejected this speculative attack, stating that rather than a conspiracy, it was more likely Ms. Dime's qualified treating physician had witnessed her repeatedly experiencing the same symptoms and continued to use the same language rather than reinventing the wheel. Sometimes the simplest and most easy and effective way to keep consistent records is to use the same terminology. The court also emphasized that the repetition of the language in medical records isn't inherently suspicious. Why? Well, the primary purpose of medical documentation, the court noted, is to promote communication and continuity among healthcare professionals, not to serve as legal evidence in a disability determination. Now, that isn't to say that you shouldn't be providing a thorough history of your symptoms, or that your doctor shouldn't occasionally change or vary the wording in their notes. So here's some practical tips. At each visit, you want to give your doctor a clear, detailed history of your symptoms. So if you're having trouble, for example, sitting, you want to tell the doctor that you may have tingling and numbness that impacts your ability to sit, and that you can only sit for 45 minutes at a time to get up to relieve that tingling and numbness. So you're talking about your symptoms and your functionality. You want to explain in this example for how long you could sit at one time, what postural changes you need to make to relieve the pain, and how long those changes have to be maintained. In other words, you alternate sitting and standing, or you might elevate your legs. You might be in a recliner. It might be that you are shifting from side to side, wiggling around, if you will, and that you're doing that, every 45 minutes. So you're giving the doctor an explanation of how long you can sit at one time, what you do to maintain that posture, what postural changes you have to make, and how long it takes before those changes are no longer effective in relieving your pain. Now, you also, for example, would want to note whether your sitting tolerance or need for breaks change throughout the day. So for most folks, their pain increases in the course of a day, and their ability to do things declines as the day progresses. They may need to take more frequent breaks or even naps. Also, describe whether you need things like ice or heating pad, and if you do so, how long you do it at one time and how often you do it in the course of a day. You also want to clarify whether medication provides temporary relief or reduces symptoms. Now, you need to be careful about that because we don't want to leave them with the impression that the medication is relieving all your pain so that you're pain-free or symptom-free. We want to clarify the nature of the relief that you get, how long that relief may last, and of course, whether or not you have any side effects of the medication. You obviously want to be explaining how these symptoms impact your ability to perform the material and substantial duties of your own occupation or any occupation if you're at that stage. And use examples not only at work if you're still working, but use examples of things that you might have difficulty doing in terms of your activities of daily living. Now, make sure that what you're saying is consistent in those activity of daily living forms that the carrier is having you fill out. And it's also consistent with what's in your medical records. Consistency and clarity can make all the difference in getting your ERISA disability benefits and staying on claim. Got it? Let's take a break.